Hello, Funjelah. We have a special episode for you. Well, listen, I don't know if it's special for you, but it was definitely special for me. One of my absolute most favorite comedians of all time sits down with me in my home. Brian Regan is on the pod today. So grateful for that. We have an amazing conversation. I'm wearing this sweater for about the first 3 minutes, and then I was so nervous, hot, I took it off within like 3 minutes. I'm like, I'm sweating. Brian Regan's at my house. And so I had to take the sweater off. Anyway, I loved that I got this opportunity to sit down with one of the greats, Brian Regan, and talk to him about how he started, what he's grateful for about his career, his family, his upbringing, all of that. It was a really, really special conversation, and I can't wait for you guys to listen to it. Don't forget, go to my website, and you can get tickets to come and see me live, or you can submit the form where you can tell us what you're grateful for, what you're mad about. If you have a question, you need advice about something, Danielle will tell you how to do all of that.
Yes. So if you want to call us and leave a voicemail, you can call us at 747-300-5380. Don't forget to tell us your name. And if you want to email us, you can go to funjelahpodcast@gmail.com. And like Anjelah said, on her website, there's a form that you can fill out there as well.
Beep, bop, bop, beep, bop, beep.
Beep, beep.
So, and leave us a review. You guys go to Apple Podcasts and leave a little quick review. Be like, yes, 5 stars. We love this podcast. It's my favorite. This is why. Do that. And enjoy this episode with one of the greats, Brian Regan. Oh, man. Am I just like honored, so mind blown that you're here right now at my home and like sitting across from me and we're having a cool little conversation. I mean, we're about to. We just started, but
you wait till I start talking. Yeah. You're going to change your tune
about
how happy you are. I got a lot of complaints lined up.
I'm so happy. You came to my show in Vegas.
Yes.
And full transparency, I was very nervous that you were there. And I don't get nervous really for shows. The only time I get nervous now is like if I'm trying something new, you know, then I'm thinking about it. And then so I'm a little bit nervous until I say it. And then I'm like, cool. It's whatever. So I rarely get nervous. Or if it's a taping, I get nervous for a taping. But then you were coming, and then all of a sudden I'm like super in my head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. And then I was like, I don't know where he's sitting. Don't tell me where I don't want to know where he's sitting. And then I was like, shoot, I should have known where he was sitting so I can avoid looking that way. But I was so excited you were there. Thanks for coming.
You. Oh, wow. I feel bad that you felt nervous, but I'm honored that it rose to the importance that you would even have nervousness over me being there. You were great.
Thank you.
My girlfriend and I were there. It was a surprise for her.
It was a surprise. She didn't know she was coming?
No.
No way. Tell me that. How'd you surprise her? You just showed up and you're like, look where we're at.
I just told her we were going to a show that night, and she said her name is Lisa. I should throw that into this. She's wonderful. And I just told her we were going to go to a show that night, and she said she didn't want to Google what shows were in town because she didn't want to have the surprise be blown. But the Backstreet Boys are in town.
Right.
And so she didn't know if it was, if I was bringing her to the Backstreet Boys.
Should I wear all white? I hear that's
she didn't know. And we were bringing her sister and her sister's husband. And she called, and they knew we were coming to see you, but I told them not to tell her. And she called her sister and said, please don't tell me where we're going. Just give me an idea of what I should be wearing. And then she said, for instance, should I be wearing white? For the Backstreet Boys. Right. And then Lisa's wondering, like, I've never mentioned the Backstreet Boys in my life. Like, why would this be an important thing for Brian to bring her to see the Backstreet Boys? Yeah. And And what's weird is when you do a surprise for someone, at some point you have to tell them.
Yeah.
Like, do I wait until you walk on? I mean, at some point she's going to see a billboard.
Yes.
So we pulled up in the front, and I decided to tell her when we were getting out of the car in front of the casino.
Oh.
And she was thrilled. And your show was great, and we had a wonderful time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. How did you and Lisa meet? And did she know who you were when you met her?
She had heard of me. We met at a comedy club.
Oh, okay.
We met at the Laugh Factory Comedy Club in Las Vegas. I was going there to see a friend of mine, Jackie Flynn, comedian. Jackie and I had golfed during the day, and then that night he was performing. I napped after the show. I woke up and I'm like, I don't want to go down to the Strip, and it's nothing against Jackie. He's a good friend, but you got to do the good friend thing.
Yep.
So I'm like, I'm going to power through. I'm going to go down and I'm going to go hang out with my buddy. Lisa has a good friend whose husband is also a comedian who books the Laugh Factory.
Oh.
So she went there to hang out with her. And there's a booth in the back that they put comedians in. I was already there watching Jackie. And then Lisa came in with with her friend, Laura, who I know. And they came in and sat in our booth. Lisa sat right next to me. And as a performer, you don't want to talk while another performer's on stage.
Sure. However, here's Lisa.
Correct. But I didn't want to start a conversation that I would then have to end quickly.
Right.
I didn't want to have to try to explain to her, this is the protocol. Comedians don't like people talking, but if other people see comedians talking in a comedian's showroom, it's really disrespectful.
Totally.
So I just said nothing.
Charming.
Yeah, right. Which I'm sure really impressed her.
Yeah.
I'm just, and I know Jackie's Flynn inside and out, his act inside and out, you know what I mean? So I shouldn't say that. He throws new stuff in from time to time. But I was there just to be supportive of Jackie. And I did say a quick hello when she sat down, but then I didn't say anything until the show was over. But then I tried to get caught up as soon as Jackie said goodnight. Hi, my name's Brian.
Don't leave yet.
Yeah, don't go. Yeah. I had an hour's worth of talking that I had to get caught up on in 2 minutes.
And she knew of you. So when she sat next to you, did she know, like, oh, this is Brian Regan?
I don't think so. I think she had heard of my name. She knew of me. She told me later that her sister had sent her a bit of mine.
Oh,
You know how clips go around and that sort of thing. And I forget what bit it was. It could have been one of many because I have so many bits that go around on the internet. It could have been one of 3. So anyway, she knew of, the walkie-talkie bit. I have a walkie-talkie bit. But so she knew of me, and I think when she sat down, like Laura said, this is Brian Regan, he's a comedian, like just very briefly. So there was a little bit of a knowledge, but not much.
And how long until you guys were like, oh, wait, do you want to do like a date thing? Do you want to go out?
That night.
Oh, immediately you were like, I like you.
Yeah, we hung out a little bit, and afterwards there were a bunch of comedians around, so there was like a big hang.
Yeah.
And I got to chat with her a little bit, and we agreed to.
You shook on it and said, "Well, see you tomorrow, 7 p.m."
Exactly.
How long have you been together now?
6.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good amount of time. Cuties.
Yes.
I like it. And then she was just super lovely when I met her, and thanks again. Thank you for coming to my show. And
of course.
So like I was saying, I was nervous about you being there at my show. And then guess who was nervous about you coming today? Me. Super excited. I mean, I told you at my show, like, how much you mean to me, just, as a comedian, and like getting to know you as a person right now. This is very super cool. And I was thinking, like, all these questions that I've just had myself of, like, you and, like, who you are, and this podcast is about gratitude and, like, what are we grateful for in our life and all the different stages of our life. And but I was thinking about you, like, and wondering in your early career. These are just, like, silly things that I'm like, oh, I wonder what what was your home club when you were, like, first starting? Were you, like, an improv guy? Were you a Comedy Store guy? Were you?
I grew up in Miami, Florida.
Uh-huh.
I went to a small, a small college in Ohio, Heidelberg College. It's now Heidelberg University. I always say it was a college when I was there, and then it became a university before I technically graduated. So I always say that my college graduated before I did. It went from a college to a university. I didn't graduate until 17 years after I was supposed to graduate.
Okay.
So anyway, I grew up in Miami, Florida. I knew in college that I wanted to be a comedian. At the time, the only comedy clubs that I knew of were in New York City and Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
So I was prepared to move to either one. I was thinking I was going to move to New York City. I go back down to Miami, Florida. I see an ad in the Miami Herald newspaper for the Comic Strip Comedy Club.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a little thing on the ad that said open mic night, Monday nights. And there was, like, a guy with almost a pie in his face. That was the logo. And I almost get emotional talking about it because of all the ads I've seen in my life. This ad, like, almost reached out and grabbed me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's what I wanted to do. And now there's a comedy club opening an hour away from where I live. It was in Fort Lauderdale, the Comic Strip Comedy Club. There was a comic strip in New York City, and this was like a sister club that they just opened in Fort Lauderdale. And I'm like, wow, I can try this at this club right down the street. All I have to invest is a tank of gas.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to fly and try to find out where to stay in New York. I don't have to move there yet. And so the comic strip in Fort Lauderdale was my my club. I went there. I auditioned. Several times, and then I finally passed my audition. And the club was open 7 nights a week. The audition night was only on Monday, so I did that like 5 times over like 2 months, you know. And then when I passed, I said, the guy who brought me back, his name was Joe Mullen. He's the guy who ran the club. He said, "Well, I've been watching you, and you've passed." I didn't know anybody was watching me. I'm in the back in the kitchen. He's talking to me, and I said, "Okay, I don't know what that means."
Yeah. Yeah.
What does that mean? And he goes, "Well, now you can go on every night if you'd like. But what we do with the local comedians here is we put them on at the end of the show after they had 3 co-headliners. It was really weird back then. Nobody had figured out how to do comedy. It was so new.
Yeah.
They had 3 co-headliners, and then after the show, they would let local comedians go up and do like 5 minutes each as the audience was leaving.
Wow.
So I started by going on to people walking out.
Oh my God, that's my nightmare. Like, I've actually had that nightmare where I'm on stage and then I see people walking out and I go, oh, no. Hello? Wait. No.
That was my audience.
Wow.
And I developed a whole act about people walking out. I had a whole routine about how the owner doesn't like to tell people they have to leave. So he's like, "Brian, why don't you go up there and tell a few jokes?" Knowing that would clear the room out. So I had all these self-deprecating jokes about people walking out. And then I got better and better at it. And then I tried to slip my own material in there as well, obviously. And then I got good enough, if you will, where they were going to let me open the show, like do before the headliners.
Mm-hmm.
So they were going to let me do 2 minutes after the MC up front. And I got on stage, and I'm looking around. I'm like, I need people to leave. My act is about people leaving.
Oh, no.
And they're all just looking at me like, what do you have to say? And I'm like, I don't have anything to say because my act is about you guys leaving. So I had to learn how to adjust to, to having an act where people were focused and paying attention. That was new to me.
Was your style of comedy is so specific to you? Did it evolve over the years? Were you always like this storyteller, act out guy who, like, everything you're talking about is so relatable, and you're like giving a characteristic to a very mundane thing in life? Like, did you start this way?
No. I didn't know. I knew that I thought in a quirky way. I used to always make my friends laugh, and I always knew that I had like a sense of humor that I liked, but it was odd. It was like peculiar. I was like absurdist with friends. But then when I tried doing stand-up, I didn't know what approach I had. I did always want it to be goofy and weird. Like one of the things I would do is I would walk on stage and I would say, hi, everybody. My name's Brian Regan. I have an unusual sense of humor, and it takes a little while to get used to. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to get used to it. And then I would just go sit on a stool for a minute. and they would stare at me. Some people would laugh and kind of get what I was doing. And then I would walk back to the microphone and go, okay, I hope you're used to it by now. And then I would start doing my act.
Killed it.
So that's the kind of joke that some people get, and some people go, what's this guy doing?
Yeah.
So I've always had that kind of humor where not everybody gets it. But I tried a lot of different things when I first started. I had a few props. Like I never considered myself a prop person, but I had props. I was so bad at props. I had props that you didn't even need. Like if I'm talking about something, they already know what I'm talking about. One of the props I had was I had a bag, and then I had like a box of cereal in there, and the name of the product was a cereal called 40% Bran Flakes. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
So the product was called 40% Bran Flakes, and so I said, I'm always getting ripped off. I go to the supermarket. I bought a box of cereal. I bring it home, I look in there, and it's less than half full. So I bring it back to the store owner, and I said, hey, man, I bought this box of cereal, and it was less than half full. And he said, yeah, you bought, and then I pulled the box out, 40% Bran Flakes. And then... and now I'm realizing all I had to do was say 40% Bran Flakes. I didn't have to show them the box. Do you see? Do you see what I'm saying, everyone? And then that goes back in the bag. So I had props like that. I did jokes about newspaper headlines, and I had the newspapers. I showed the headlines.
Just so you think I'm not lying,
right.
just so you know.
See? Remember the headline I was telling you about? There it is. That was never a big part of my act, but like if I was doing 15, 20 minutes, that would be like 3 to 5 minutes of it. I did goofy impressions. I did a lot of different things. And then after a while, you start, the stuff that doesn't feel organic falls by the wayside. Okay. And then the stuff that feels like this is what I really feel like communicating starts coming to the forefront.
Yeah. Hold on. Bonzo. My dog likes to fluff unfluffable things. Oh. So every now and then I got to remind him.
Fluff away.
That's not fluffing. When in your career did you feel like oh, this is like taking off. Like things are happening. When was that for you?
It was gradual. It has always been gradual for me. There were moments along the way where you go, wow, that was different. But I never had like that line in the sand moment where one day I'm just trudging along and the next day, wow, I've made it, if you will. But there were little moments along the way. I remember performing at a club up in Connecticut, and it was after I had done a handful of TV things. Comedy was getting hot, so they had these TV shows. One was called the MTV Half Hour Comedy Hour.
Okay.
And, but it wasn't like a special about me. There'd be like 5 comedians on the show.
Sure.
So there'd be a host, and then they'd bring out different comedians. I call them brick wall shows. Caroline's Comedy Hour, MTV Half Hour Comedy Hour. VH1 had a stand-up spotlight show. So it'd be a evening at the Improv. All these shows had 4 or 5 comics on it, and you're one of 5. So I had done a show or 2 like that, and then I go to perform at this club in Connecticut, and I see these guys before the show. I'm just hanging in the back, like looking back at me, and I'm like, I don't know, do I know these? Do I know these guys from somewhere? And they were looking very strangely, like I'd never had anybody staring at me before a show.
Do I owe anybody money? What is? Hold on.
And then one of them came back and walked by me, like on the way to the restroom. The show hadn't started yet, and I'm like, I'm about to get in a fist fight here because I don't let people look at me. Somebody looks at me, it's going down. So the guy walked by and said, my buddies and I are here. We're huge fans. I had never heard that.
Yeah.
Ever.
Wow.
Like, huge fans of who? Of what?
Yeah.
Of you.
Wow.
And I'm like, from what? And they said, well, we saw you on the MTV Half Hour Comedy Hour. It's like a 7-minute routine that I did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. And they said, yeah, we all came out to see you tonight. And so that was like one of those moments where you go, holy wow, this is something. And all the other people who were there walked by and said, we're not fans of yours. We don't know who you are. And I went, that's more like it. We're just here for a comedy show. I went, whew.
It's interesting because like my question is, do legends consider themselves legends? Like, do you consider yourself a comedy legend?
It's very sweet of you to use that terminology. I'm very proud of what I've done. I get emotional about things. I love doing comedy. It has meant the world to me to be able to do it, make a living at it. I mean, I feel like I got a scam going.
Yeah.
I always say to people, that when a show is over, let me back up. I would pay to do comedy. I pay to golf. I pay to do things that I enjoy. Yeah. I would pay to do comedy. Yeah. The fact that when a show is over, you go in a room, like I'm supposed to be giving you money, and they give me money, I'm like, this is a scam. I feel like I got a scam going. But as far as the legend thing, it means a lot to me that comedians respect what I do and like what I do. It means the world to me. It's like the ultimate compliment when people who do what you do like what you do.
Yeah, totally.
It's really a tremendous honor. But I try not to live in a world of feeling more important than anyone else. It's like we're all doing our thing, and I just happen to do a thing that some people might recognize me occasionally, or some people might respect, which feels tremendous.
Yeah.
but try to stay grounded.
And I think it's not even like not even to say like, oh, you're more important than this person, but your impact on this gift of comedy is pretty tremendous. And I feel like, and it's funny because you and I are both emotional. We already shared tears in my green room in Vegas. But like, I'm grateful that I've been able to do stand-up comedy now for like 19 years, and selling out tour after tour still blows my mind. I have so much gratitude that I still get to do this, that people still care after all these years of this one video going viral on YouTube, that they trusted that that video was enough to get them to buy a ticket to my show. And then here I am 19 years later, people are still buying a ticket to my show. Like it doesn't, I don't lose sight of that ever. It still blows my mind all the time. And I think about like when I first started doing stand up, your show is my first show that I saw live.
Oh.
I saw you at the Ontario Improv years ago, and how I even was able to go was I was somebody's plus one. It was a birthday party for my pastor at the time at this church that I was going to, and somebody on staff at the church, I was dating him. And so he did like a bunch of people, his friends and like staff from the church, and they took the church shuttle and they drove from Hollywood to Ontario to take everybody to the show for his birthday. And so I was dating this guy, and so he asked me if I wanted to go, and I was like, yeah, I'll go. That's fun. And I remember sitting there at the Improv, and I'm not even a comedian at this point, and just watching you and being fully entertained, fully just like in awe, and like grateful, And so when I become a comedian, and I was saying like, oh my gosh, you're like one of my favorites. You're storytelling. You're this. You're that. I have my my go-tos, you, Ellen, and George Lopez, and the things that I see in you guys. I see myself in this of this person. I see myself in this of you. I see myself in this, and just inspired by your style. So like when I say your impact on the gift of comedy, I'm not saying, oh, I am where I am today because of Brian Regan. I'm saying that Brian Regan was something very important to my journey of where I am at today in my career. And I'm very grateful for you and your gift. And I'm just so curious about all the things about you and
well, thank you. I want to thank you very, very much for those very sweet words. They mean a lot to me. It touches me tremendously when people get something out of my comedy, and for you to say that as a fellow comedian, it's just a really, really, it's really nice to hear. So thank you.
You're welcome. You are welcome, Brian Regan. And I'm going to refer to you as Brian Regan, full government name forever. Okay, another question I wanted to ask you is, do you have a favorite bit of yours for any reason, whether it's because it makes you laugh still, or because the reaction you see your audience have when you say this one bit, or is there any one bit that is like your favorite?
There are a few bits that that I'm very proud of. I'm proud of a lot of my bits, but some have a lot of, like, they build and they have a lot of different aspects. I like my ironing board bit, and that is, it'll be hard to try to do it, but it's about how if the ironing board was, if somebody came up with it in today's world and tried to get it approved, There are so many things wrong with that thing, safety-wise, that it would never get approved in today's world. And it's the fact that, you got these two crisscrossing legs and the thing teeters on the top, and you put a big hot metal thing with water, the temperature of lava oozing out the sides for burns, and the thing can fall off with the point for puncture wounds, and all of these aspects that it just exists in the world, but it wouldn't exist if somebody thought of it today.
Right.
And I was going to do it on Letterman, and I had the whole bit, and there was one part of it that I didn't quite have a line for, and I'm like, well, I want to have it perfect for Letterman. And it was, I say, when you open up an ironing board, why does it always have to sound like a witch being boiled in oil? It's like, can they make an ironing board that doesn't squeal every time you open it? And I used to just do the squealing noise, but I added double bubble boiling trouble, which is the famous witch, lines from Shakespeare, I guess. And so when you can make a joke 1% better, like it's already working, but if you can find a word or a phrase or a thing that pops it up, it's like a joy for us as comedians. And it always bothers me. I should say bothers me. It interests me when someone will say, oh, I heard you do that bit last year. And you go, this bit has been on a journey since you heard it.
Yeah.
What you heard last year is not what I'm doing now. It was the nuts and bolts of it, but I've honed in and I figured out how to get the words right and have the moments and the beats and like all of those aspects of a joke are huge, but a person listening they might appreciate it, but they don't appreciate it the way we appreciate it delivering it.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of mine that put a lot of work was put into it. It has a good beginning, middle, and an end. So I like it.
Good. Have you ever recorded a bit and then once it's already recorded and released, then thought of something like, I should have said this?
Yes. Yeah, I wish I had an example right now, but yes, it's very frustrating. Especially when you're going to do an hour special. To me, an hour is, you're putting that out there, you're putting that comedy out there for it to exist forever. And so hopefully the bits have gotten to that completion point where you're like, okay, that's the version I want to exist forever. But occasionally, after you record a special, you do come up with a line or something where you go, oh man, I wish that was included in there.
Yeah, totally.
It'd be nice to go back and get all the tapes back.
Everybody, give it back.
Everybody bring them back in and then go in there and splice in the one word. I'd spend a month just splicing one word in everybody's version of it. And it would sound different, but it would still feel better to me.
How do you feel, and I'm going to get your gratitude and your attitude too. How do you feel about stand-up comedy today and like the new comedians, the new way of like social media being the new Tonight Show opportunity type thing where a social media thing could pop off? And like, I don't know, what's your take on the stand-up comedy industry today?
I don't watch a lot of stand-up comedy. I know that sounds weird, but it feels like things have evolved and changed so much over the years. One thing that troubles me is the divisiveness. Or is it divisiveness? We can fight about whether it's divisiveness or divisiveness. It seemed like years ago, and I don't want to be one of these guys that these kids today, but it felt like we were all on the same team when I started. You know, every comedian supported every comedian. We were all on the same team. We're all comedians, and we're all rooting for each other. And then over the last 10, 20 years, there's been a lot. The tone has gotten a little rougher, even between comedians. Like you hear people slamming other comedians on TV or in podcasts and clips, and that troubles me. You know, it's like I preferred the feeling of camaraderie.
Oh yeah.
And so that part is weird for me. It seems like I believe anybody should say whatever they want to say. You know, it's like if you have a point of view and you want to convey it through comedy, go for it. I want everybody to express everything that they want to express. But it's interesting to me that when I started, saying someone was preachy in their comedy was a knock. It was a dig. You know, it was like, he's funny, but he's a little preachy, meaning he's trying to... And it has almost come full circle, where if you're not preachy, it's a dig.
Right.
Like if you're not trying to push,
you don't have a message. You don't have
a message.
Saying? Yeah.
And I think everything should exist. I think if you have comedy and you want to include a message, that's great. But I also like absurdist stuff. You know, I mean, you look at Stephen Wright kind of comedy. Mitch Hedberg. Mitch Hedberg, who's no longer with us, was a genius. There was no message in his comedy. Yeah. You know, he's not trying to get you to think differently. It was just, he had this peculiar way at looking at the world through his comedy, and you'd hear a bit and you'd go, wow, that's fun. You know, so I think that kind of comedy should be as appreciated as comedy that is trying to convince somebody to think differently.
Yeah, that's such a good
I think
point.
it should all exist.
That's such a good point. Thank you. On this podcast, we talk about things that we're grateful for, whether it be from childhood, maybe a mentor you had in 3rd grade, or one of your very many siblings, maybe anything in life, something that happened yesterday, something from your life, anything that you're grateful for. But before we move into gratitude, we start with a matitude. And that's the thing that makes you mad, gives you a bad attitude. Like, what gets under your skin? What
Do you have
irks
enough time
you?
for this?
What these days, Brian Regan, what makes you upset? What's your matitude these days?
Well, my current one, I'm having computer issues. I've had several different people look at it, and they seem to think that I want to hear what the problem is. I know there's a problem. That's why I'm having you look at it. I'm not interested in an explanation of why this program doesn't want to talk to this program on my computer and they're incompatible. I know there's a problem. I came in here, I already have that knowledge. I need someone with the kind of knowledge to fix the problem, not to explain to me the problem.
Yeah.
So
that's what it is. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, the reason this thing is spinning nonstop on your computer is because this doesn't want to talk to that. Can you get them talking? Please? So your work is done?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a current thing that I'm dealing with. My computer is spinning literally as we speak. It flew from home to here. If you open it up, there's going to be a thing spinning on it.
It's just sitting in the car right now, spinning
Yes.
in your bag.
And there are many, many experts out there who know why. They know why it's doing that. I want the one guy who knows how to stop it.
That's what. You have an Apple? Is that what you have?
I have an Apple.
Yeah.
But I have a Microsoft program on it. I'm sure people out there listening are already going, oh, the reason your thing is spinning, everybody out there knows why it's happening.
That's a good one. What is your gratitude? We'll go through a few. You don't have to just name one, but what's something that comes to mind when you think of gratitude in your life?
Boy. I came across a computer guy who said he knows how to fix computers. I thought he had come down from heaven. No. There are so many, like, it's one of those things where you don't want to say somebody and then have somebody else go, how come I wasn't included in that? I'll start with my parents. My parents were tremendous. I went to Heidelberg College, as I mentioned earlier. I was having trouble at the end of school when I was supposed to graduate. I was 10 credit hours shy. And I was going to quit to try to do stand-up comedy. I mean, just imagine anybody out there having to tell your parents, I'm 10 credit hours away from graduating. And comedy was not a thing at the time, you know.
Right.
It's almost like, Mom, Dad, I'm no longer going to be a lawyer. I'm going to join the circus. You know what I mean? Like it was, not that I was ever on the lawyer track, but so I had to call my parents. I mean, I was an adult making my own decision, but to say, hey, I'm dropping out of college.
Wow.
And I want to become a comedian. I can't even imagine how they heard this. But their reaction was tremendous. They said what a good parent should. They said, well, we think since you're so close to graduating, you should probably just stay and get that and get your degree, and then you can try stand-up comedy. But this is the part that was loving. They said, but you're an adult and this is your decision. And whatever you do, we love you and we support you.
Oh. Wow.
So that was a huge gift.
Yeah. Wow.
That they gave me. You know, they blew wind in my sails with their support. When I know a lot of parents would have go, what are you, crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you, nuts? Comedy? What? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Get your degree, you know. So they said the right part, you know, we think you should get your degree.
Yeah.
They did the right part, and then they gave the loving part on top.
Yeah.
So yes, beautiful. I've always been very grateful.
And you left with 10 hours left.
Yes. And I ended up, I'll go back. The reason it was hard for me to get my degree is because everyone kept saying to me, get your degree so you have something to fall back on. So you have something to fall back on if the comedy thing doesn't work. And I'm like, I don't want to fall back on anything. I don't, I want for the comedy to have to work. I don't want a pillow.
Yeah.
That I can land on softly. I need it to be jagged nails over here.
Yeah.
I want comedy to work so much that's all I want to focus on. So it's so hard for me to pursue a negative goal. It's hard to study for a class so I could graduate so I can have the pillow to fall back on. So it was hard for me to pursue that, and I think my parents respected that. Not sure if I answered your question.
No, yeah.
I think you asked me what my horoscope sign
Yeah.
was. And
I love that. Wow. So I should be thanking your parents is what it is.
yes.
For the inspiration. I love that. Also, can you text all three of the boys and tell them to keep it down there, please? Thank you. I can still hear them laughing really loud. And it's probably my husband. My husband is the loudest Puerto Rican you will ever meet. His whole family, they're all loud, just loud Puerto Ricans. When I first married him, I remember being asleep in the room, waking up to them, what sounded like yelling and arguing in the kitchen about scrambled eggs. But that was just them talking, just regular dialogue, morning, 7 a.m. conversation is level Puerto Rican is what it is.
I've always wondered about couples that yell and scream at each other. And I wonder if sometimes that's actually a healthy thing to just, and you get it out and you vent it out and you still love each other. And a lot of people don't do that. I tend to be the latter. Like, I'd rather just keep it in, but maybe it's better if you're upset about something to just let it out when you're upset and let the other person do it as well.
Yeah, that's pretty dangerous. Especially when regular dialogue is already this level. I don't know what that looks like.
I feel like you have to be pretty strong
Yeah.
in your relationship.
Totally.
That's why I don't have a romance help podcast. So I say, point in your partner's face and you tell them why you are furious.
Yeah. You have kids, right?
Yes.
How old are your kids?
My son is 25. My daughter is 21. My son is in Vegas studying computer programming. My daughter is in New York City at a college, and she's going to go to a semester abroad in London this next semester. So.
Wow, good for her. I want to say, if your son can't figure out the pinwheel thing that's happening
what I
here,
was just thinking. I was like,
I'm gonna need him to
hold on.
course correct.
Well, it's so interesting because I don't want to put him in that position with me. You know what I mean? I just want him to be my boy.
You don't want him to be your tech support.
Correct.
Okay, good for you. Good for you.
When he was really, really young, TiVo first came out. When you could tape things. And I had taped this important golf tournament, and he had gone to bed, but we had a monitor where you could hear him. And I'm like, he's supposed to be asleep, but I want to watch this U.S. Open, but I don't know how to do it. So I went up and I snuck into his bedroom and woke him up, and I said, how do I watch something that I taped earlier in the day? And he knew the answer. He's like, there's a button, you hit rewind, and I'm like, okay, good night.
Sweet dreams.
Get back to sleep. Don't tell anybody this conversation happened.
Oh my gosh. Give me another grateful in your life.
Oldest brother, Mike.
Yeah, let's talk about Mike.
8 kids in our family. He's the oldest. A leader in our family. He's funny. I have a brother, Dennis, who also does stand-up comedy, who's great. But I often say that my oldest brother, Mike, is the funniest guy in our family. I say, you could ask my oldest brother, Mike, a yes or no question, and it wouldn't matter whether he said yes or no, you'd be laughing.
Oh, wow.
Because it's attitude. It's he has a way about him.
Wow.
But he takes his role as big brother very seriously. He gets the family together on big decisions. When both my parents passed away, he took it upon himself to be the, I don't know what you call it, the master of ceremonies. That's not the right word for it. but to give a talk, and he's always calling everybody up and making sure we're doing well, and
Special.
very special. We had a golf week recently with a bunch of my brothers and friends, and he was in my group, and he'd hit a bad shot, and he doesn't get mad, and I admire that. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
He tops a shot, it goes 3 feet. I don't want to suggest that's all of his golf shots. He can hit good shots, and he just takes a deep breath and
Wow.
moves on to the next shot. And I meant to call him up after that and tell him how much I learned from that and appreciated that. Seems like a small thing, but it's a metaphor for life.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I can't top a shot and not go, oh.
Yeah.
But he can.
Yeah.
And it's a gift.
Yeah.
Not only is it a gift for himself, he's not trying, he's teaching me about life with a moment like that. So
that's wild that your brother, your big brother, can still be teaching you things, you know, as you guys are grown men, grown adults.
yeah.
Still teaching, unknowingly teaching, and you being open to still learning and watching and going, huh,
Yeah.
how do I do that?
Yeah. You watch behavior like that and go, I could use more of that behavior in my own life.
Yeah.
We're on a golf course. It's sunny out. We're with friends. We're golfing. How could this be bad in any way, even if you hit a bad shot?
Wow. Beautiful. And did you ever call him and tell him? You never did? We'll send him the clip. It's fine.
No, I haven't. And I regret that. It's on my list of things to talk to him about. I swear. I keep lists.
Yeah.
It's on my list. Tell Mike about golf. I don't write the whole thing out because I know what that means.
Yeah. Well, on line number 2, we have Mike. So hold on. No, I'm just kidding. No. This is my home studio. We have no technology things here. Another gratitude in your life, in your career. Give me a gratitude in your career of
Okay.
anything.
I was at the comic strip in Fort Lauderdale. I passed my audition. After being there for a while, the guy who ran the place let me work there, which was fantastic. So I took the trash out, I cooked in the kitchen, I sat people, and then they would let me go on for either 10 minutes at the end of the show or if later at the beginning of the show. But I worked there as a busboy, and after a show one time, out by the bar, the other comedians who didn't have to bus tables were there, and the audience was walking out. And I wish I could remember who this comedian was. But a person came up to me saying, and I had my bus tray stuff on, like I had done some time. They thought I was funny.
Yeah.
And they said, I forget what they asked, but I said, yeah, I'm trying to become a comedian. I'm trying to be a comedian. And the person said, oh, well, we enjoyed you tonight. Good luck, and left. And a comedian overheard me say that and said, can I talk to you? Another one where I'll cry. And I said, sure. And he said, why did you tell that person you were trying to be a comedian? I said, because that's what I'm doing. I want to become a comedian. He goes, you did it tonight. They enjoyed it. Why don't you say you are a comedian? And I don't know why, but it hit me it hit me. He goes, why are you putting it out in front of you when it's already there?
Wow.
And from that moment on, I said that I was a comedian, that I am a comedian.
It's beautiful. Wow.
And then audience members go, we don't think so. But that's on them.
Like, that's cute. Here's my drink. Take it away. Thank you.
Hey,
Wow.
I didn't know I was going to be crying. What is this?
Yeah.
I should have saw the hint. What is this for?
What is this comedian's podcast?
Yeah. She sneaks in there real quick.
That's beautiful. And that's like, and like, you don't remember who the comedian
No.
was and what a significant role they played in your life. And they may have no idea. They just said what they saw and walked away and continued on with their life and have no idea that it
Right.
made that impact on you, and to where you changed your language, you changed your vernacular to saying what you are and affirming yourself every time you're saying that, not even knowing what it's doing to your insides, to your mind, to your
Right.
psyche, to all of that, not even knowing the shift that you just made within yourself, bringing things into your life by just that little switch, and that person having no idea what they just did for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's so special and so powerful. That's very cool.
And what happened was, the next time somebody said, "What are you doing?" and I said, "I am a comedian," and I dropped the bus tray and I said, "And I'm trying to be a busboy."
Yeah. Goof. Oh man, that kind of reminds me of a story of my husband's in music, and he wanted to be a rapper, and to get through college, he was a balloon man, and he would make balloon animals at restaurants in Disney World area, like all the Disney World restaurants. He would go and he would make balloon animals for people. And he tells the story that he would make his balloon animals, and then he would go off in the back room and like write his rap songs. And then when new tables would come in, he would come out and do balloon animals again. And there was this one table of this family, and he's making them balloon animals, and he was telling them that he does music and stuff like that. And they were like, "Oh wow, like we would love to hear your music." And he had at the time burned like CDs, of his music, and so he sold this family one of his CDs for like $5 or something like that. And he's in college at the time and just wants to be a rapper. And then like cut 2 years go by, and now he is a rapper, and he has this group called Group One Crew, and it's him, another guy and a girl, and they're touring, and they're on this big tour, and it's in the Christian music industry, and so it's like a big tour with a bunch of different Christian artists on it, and they're on this tour bus traveling around, whatever. And so after one of his shows at this arena, they have merch volunteers, right? And so there's people selling his merch, and he's talking to whoever the volunteer was, and she stops and looks at him, and she's like, "Did you used to sell balloon animals?" And he was like, "I did." And she goes, "I bought one of your CDs for my son, and now her and her son are here selling merch at his table."
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, not even knowing, like, this lady supporting him, like, "Yeah, I'll buy your music." She probably didn't even like the music, whatever, but just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna sew into this. I'm gonna support. Here's $5. I'll take your music."
Really
and then
wonderful.
years later, he's like on a real tour at a real arena, and she's selling his merch for him, not even knowing that this is the kid.
That's amazing.
That's wild, right?
Yeah.
It's so cool that God will like send us little people not little people. They'll send us people that are like in these little moments throughout our journey of life that like help us course correct, that help us in any way that has such an impact later on in life. Like what gifts those people are throughout our journey. And that person that he doesn't remember that lady's name. You don't remember who that person was, but they were so significant in your life and so God sent. And I think that's just so powerful and inspiring too, to be that person for others, you know? And we never know what people are going through, what they're dealing with, what they're thinking about. And I try myself to be obedient to what I hear. And when I say that, what I mean is if I'm at the grocery store and there's a lady behind me and I can hear a thought in my head that says, that's a cute sweater, I try to go, I like your sweater. Just because I don't know if she needed that today. And if that did something for her psyche that changes something for her. I don't know what.
Right.
But I try to, when I hear those things or I feel something, I try to be present. And what does it cost me to just say, you look so pretty today? Oh my God, thank you.
And how a beautiful gesture to say something nice about someone, and like you say, how little time it takes.
Yeah.
To do a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you timed it on a stopwatch, wow, that's a nice sweater. It's not even 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And yet it can have a nice impact on someone who might otherwise be having a challenging day and feel good for a moment.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Man.
So here's another one from my dad.
Okay, yes.
My dad was a very funny guy. And there was a guy in our neighborhood who had a fishing boat, and he always talked about fishing, My dad never fished. And my dad would come back and joke about, Charlie talking about fishing all day again, and, And then my dad had these moments of wisdom, and he came home one day and he said, you know what? I finally realized if someone else is getting joy out of something that I'm not, who's the fool? He's like, that guy talks about fishing all the time, and I make fun of the joy he gets out of fishing, and I'm not getting joy out of fishing. Who's the fool in this situation? And, so I remember my dad saying that, and it meant something to me as a kid. It's like if other people are getting something out of something and you're not, maybe you're the one that either should try to learn more about it or find something that you like rather than make fun of somebody else liking something.
Yeah.
That's
a good point. Reminds me of kids who get made fun of at school for liking a certain thing, for, being theater nerds or
right,
video game nerds or whatever it is, and they get made fun of for what? For having a passion for something?
Yeah.
Who's the fool? Who's the fool? That's good. Brian Regan, thank you so much for being here.
My gosh, what a wonderful experience. I owe you a box of Kleenex.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your kind words at the top of this, and I appreciate your goodness and your soul.
Thank you. Thank you. I received that. I remember I reached out after you were at my show, and I was like, do you have a tag for me or anything? Just so I can say Brian Regan wrote this tag for me.
I tried. I was like, oh my gosh. I tried to think of, and I had one. It was about your mom writing Patrick Mahomes.
Oh yeah, my mother-in-law.
Your mother-in-law. Thinking she had contacted Patrick Mahomes. oh gosh, now I feel bad because I can't remember. I had a line and now I'm forgetting what it was.
Dang.
I like the bit though.
Thank you.
Where she was writing to a dummy account and didn't know it. Like you said, what, Patrick Mahomes has more than 563 followers or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the tag was so you're doing the right, you're confused as to whether you should tell her or not.
Uh-huh.
And then I thought it would be funny if Patrick Mahomes in an interview thanked her.
Oh, yeah.
Like she actually was communicating with him and you were wrong. You know what I mean? Like for some reason he was getting the message. Because I want to thank so-and-so. It gave me extra motivation to throw that TD pass.
Oh, on my own real account, my only real account that she messages me on.
Right.
I'm gonna find a way to work that in because you gave it to me. It's gonna be in there. And then also I remember when I sent you a text to ask you like thought of any tag or whatever, and I wrote out this text. I don't remember what I said, but I remember I ended it with "take luck," and I was like, oh my god. That's like people quoting the nail salon to me, and I am annoyed with myself. But I sent you a text, and I said, "Take luck."
No.
Hate me.
That's very sweet.
I'm very grateful for you. I'm
Thank
grateful
you.
for you being here on my podcast and coming to my home. You're the coolest cat. I thank you and appreciate you.
Aw.
And yeah, thank you everybody for listening to
Thank you all.
this conversation with Brian Regan.
You can see me bust tables somewhere soon.
Yeah.